hello, this is Scry Mind, bringing you another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a pro-level game with some pro-level players. We have 4k Grubby in one corner and 4k.Qillerman in another. They are playing on some Smurf accounts, it seems. But clearly, as you're going to watch this game, you're going to see they are going to be doing some crazy micro and just really great play here on these this game. So this map is Plunde Isle, and Qillerman is going to be a little bit rusty from his human, and Grubby is going to be a little bit rusty from playing all his StarCraft 2 and Hearthstone or Heroes of the Storm or whatever he's doing these days. He is a little bit out of practice, and Qillerman way out of practice on human, but they're still going to be super pros, clearly. So as we watch this replay here, we're going to see the human doing a little bit of a weird build order, but who might have questioned his strategy, because he used to be a pro-level player, and
ready to work.
So he's skipping a barracks, he's getting an early lumber mill. And the orc, likewise, is so far is skipping his barracks. So the human is going to be throwing up some towers, it looks like, and maybe going for a fast tech build. And as the orc is going for a farseer, we might actually see the orc doing a fast tech as well. So this is going to be promises to be a super fun game. Mountain King against farseer, really sort of some old school heroes going. And yeah, we got some good banter going between these players here. And I'll speed it up a little bit as there isn't much going on. The orc is he is teching, but he is throwing up a barracks, probably just in case the human tries to do an early push or something. He doesn't. The orc hasn't scouted yet, but the farseer is pretty effective at scouting with the wolves and harassing. So it looks like the orc is going to be going for a harass strategy. And the human may be going for more of a defensive, but also harassing strategy with his Mountain King. So
Research complete.
now he is run into the farseer, and we're going to have a Lord of the Rings moment with orcs against dwarves here, and wolves and everything else is that Khazragor, and this is obviously Gimli, I think. So we're going to see some positioning here. The Mountain King is, his really only option to get this farseer away is to put some damage on him with Stormbolt, maybe catch a hero surround with militia. Now he is finally teching, so the human, even though he skipped here one, his tech is way behind. Again, I'm just going to chalk this up to all the poker that I think Qillerman got into and being away from human so long. I think he switched to undead in the Frozen Throne. But clearly, as you can see, he's really good with the micro. So he's got these militia coming up. Even these ones with the lumber, really confusing. He's just gonna throw Grubby off. He's not gonna know what to do. He's running back here. So, but no units lost yet for either player. No hero lost. A lot of damage going down on this Mountain King. Though Qillerman is gonna have to be very careful. He's saying he's lagging. I don't know if he's playing from Ireland or where he's at these days. And again, obviously, Grubby is. He could even be in China. Nobody really knows. So a lot of action going on here. Just a really prolonged harass and dancing around. We can speed it up a little bit though, just so we can see some units come to the front here. We've got one grunt. So Qillerman, though, being the pro that he is, probably noticed it took that grunt quite a long time to show up. So. And seeing a farseer, he's probably in the back of his head thinking, okay, I've got a Mountain King, he's got a farseer. Gonna be a potential weakness to sort of wyverns, wind riders here. So he's gonna head throwing up some guard towers. He's gonna get a blacksmith, and he is gonna throw up a barracks, potentially for riflemen. Who knows? We're gonna have to wait and see through this mystery here. So Qillerman is going for a very unusual, unorthodox strategy right now, and he is sending his Mountain King on a journey, just running. Gimli said that I can't remember remember if he said dwarves are supposed to be sprinters or distance runners, but either way, he's having a hard time getting away from his four-legged coyote hero. And the Farseer did secure that kill, and didn't take really any damage from the creeps. He did lose the wolves, but negligible loss. But I think Qillerman did manage to pick up some boots of speed. So going forward here, he is going to be a little bit better at running around with his Nike boots, Air Jordans, what have you, and being a little bit more effective there. So, we're going to see that Qillerman is going up for tier 3 for Castle, and he's throwing down a Griffin Aviary, just one Griffin Aviary, and he's not producing any riflemen. So,
Alright, who wants some?
so this is a very unusual strategy. Not so much going Griffins against Orc, but only one Aviary and just totally skipping tier 1 and 2 units. And sort of being harassing with the Mountain King. Not exactly the most traditional, strategy. But notice the Orc is not really. He's not expanding. His harass is going to be severely limited by these towers, and only having level 1. If he really would have got level 2, he maybe could have still done some damage here, but he ran in there at level 1, and Qillerman, is bang right into my trap. So he's eliciting some laughter from the Grubster here, who is green, as Grubby tends to do well as a green. So green skins getting a little bit aggressive and now running back one of these peasants, the wood peasant serving as a distraction. And Qillerman is still rusty. You're going to see that he can't even get this grunts around. He should have easily been able to do that. Oh, but he has added a paladin second during his tech. So maybe going to be going for some healing here. And he is finally with that boost of speed that he lost. So able to secure that grunt kill. So boots of speed paying off there for his sloppy play. And now the Orc is not really going to stick around too much here, but you're going to notice that he is massing Wind Riders, which he has quite a few, so he can creep pretty much at will here. And Qillerman can't really do a lot, but Qillerman is going to go ahead and do some creeping relatively malicious. This expansion out, I don't think he's going to be a wise idea to expand right now, and correctly he is not going to expand because the Wyvern just torn that down immediately. Now they're going to attack into the towers. There are not that many towers, so the Wind Riders are going to be able to take one down, but the army showing up, Qillerman's army, Griffins, and a Knight, it looks like is going to be pretty good here. Oh my goodness, he's on the 3rd armor upgrade for these Griffins. I didn't immediately see it, but he is about to have 3 armor upgrades on these Griffins, so going to be pretty tanky, and but that's really a little bit more effective against the Bat Riders, making them inefficient. Again, against the Wyvern, they're still going to win the battle, especially in these numbers against the Griffins straight up. So, but Qillerman showing he has not lost everything. He's still got a step or two, a trick or two up his sleeve. He's going to get the surround on that Farseer. He's going to force the TP, and he's not going to lose any more units. He could lose a peasant here, maybe even multiple peasants. I'm not sure if that was a grunt or a peasant, but it looks like it was a grunt. So he got a grunt kill out of that and made grubby TP. So kudos to Qillerman for pulling that off and giving himself some breathing room, which is good since he did not really have that much to defend the air. Just really good positioning and everything, and use of militia. So Grubby is still, he's really running on, he really doesn't have a lot of options anymore. Wind Riders and Bat Riders are pretty much going to be the thing for him to do out of these bestiaries. Maybe Kodos if, Teal goes for a bunch of Knights, but the Kodos can hit Griffins, and armor types are, decent against the Griffins, but more or less, I think he's going to just stick with the Wind Riders, and he's going to go ahead and throw up an expansion, but he's not using the Tiny Great Hog. Well, he's only level tier 2, so he's going to have to go with a slow expansion here, and he's going to go back to pressure Qillerman, but Tillerman is a little bit more prepared now with, you know, 3 Griffins with a 4th one coming. He's rebuilt that tower. He's going to get some attack upgrades for the Knights and Griffins. But I still think the Wind Riders have the advantage, especially on open ground. He really sort of ran past some creep camps that you know, Grubby, I don't mean to question Grubby, but, you know, running away from these creep camps, he could have, you know, quickly crept that, you know, these dragons, these orange camps, these greens, but he's decided to try to find a human. I guess he's scared of a fast expansion going up, and towers. You know, if a bunch of towers get up, you know, they really can neutralize the Wind Riders. So, and again, he might have assumed that Tillerman threw up some more towers. He's thrown up one more tower here, but, you know, he still could have probably pressured that. But the main thing is he's walking past all these creep camps, sort of wasting time. While if there was an expansion to hit, that would have paid off, but there isn't. He actually missed Teal coming around on this coal mine, so Tillerman is going to get his heroes leveled a bit, which is going to be pretty good against this Farseer Shadow Hunter combination. If it were a Blade Master, you know, probably a little bit better off of the Blade Master. You know, leveling and scouting and everything else, but as it were, now Grubby has finally decided he needs to creep because it's been way too long since he's seen his opponent, and you know, his expansion isn't paying off yet. He hasn't been doing anything except running around, so he realizes he doesn't want to get behind on hero levels. You know, he can't be scouting everywhere all the time, so he's gonna go ahead and creep. He's got this raider here by these dragons in case Tillerman comes by, and here he is, but he does have Stormbolt, so he should be able to secure this kill. And Tillerman got Sentry Wards, which are going to prove very good on this map. You can really cover a lot of ground, or you know, a lot of the movement areas with Sentry Wards, and also with this cliff. You know, he's going to take advantage of this cliff, or his air rather, to fly over this cliff and hit this expansion. But the Wind Rider's gonna be right there, and they're not gonna have any upgrades though, or one armor upgrade. So, but Grubby is gonna be sort of in the driver's seat right now. This is not a fight that Tillerman wants to take. Wind Riders straight up are gonna beat the Griffins most of the time. I think it appears that there are more Wind Riders. Let's take a look at the. Tillerman is under 50 food, so that is a good thing for him to do, whereas Grubby is over, but he does have the expansion going, so not totally getting hosed there, but he does not want to engage yet. Tillerman doesn't, and wisely he avoids the battle. Going to run back here, and he's throwing up a workshop. Workshop is going to offer him a little bit more choices as far as countering those Wind Riders, either gyros or engines with the upgrade. Are going to be pretty good. Again, Dragon Hawks are sort of the other option, but you know, they're not nearly as tanky as siege engines if that's what he chooses to go with. And also, Dragon Hawks aren't going to be able to pressure buildings like the siege engine would. So, you know, siege engines arguably a little more versatile. If Green had a bunch of towers, then the Dragon Hawks would be decent with the Cloud upgrade potentially, but you know, they still take extra from the Wind Riders, so, you know, and they take a lot from bats as well, so, you know, maybe want to go for the siege engines instead. Now, there is no tavern on this map, or anything really to worry about in terms of maybe going gyros. He didn't see any bat riders or mini, so, you know, gyros potentially could be a choice option, but... And he is making some gyros, but I believe he is going to transition, thanks to this expansion, into siege engines, just for the ability to pressure it a little easier. And again, one thing to note is if your opponent has an untowered expansion, it can sort of provide you a great target. He's going to get a free kill here. No, he doesn't quite get it. But a free target, and if Green wants to defend that, then Teal can force a fixed, sort of a standing battle, and that's where the siege engines, that's sort of their weakness, is on open ground. You know, it's going to be hard to get those siege engines in position to really secure any kills on the Wind Riders, but on the flip side, with an expansion, it's going to provide a great opportunity for Tillerman to, sort of some foreshadowing here, for Tillerman to force a fixed battle and either force Grubby to choose between defending the expansion or just sacrificing it and avoiding a fixed standing battle against siege engines, which are going to benefit greatly from armor type and damage type against Wind Riders with their upgrades. So, and again, we see there's still no upgrades going on the Wind Riders except for the 1 armor. Whereas the Griffins are 2-3, and the Knights also benefit from the attack upgrades of the Griffins. So the Knights have 2 attack upgrades also, and the Siege Engine and Gyros are going to benefit from the, well, actually, okay, never mind, they do not take the, sorry, that was silly of me, they don't, since it's the Griffin armor, not the Knight armor, they're not going to get any bonus from the armor upgrades, the mech unit. So, but you know, they don't really need the upgrades per se. The siege engines are going to do decent against the Wind Riders just from the base armor upgrades or armor type they have. So Tillerman is going to try to sneak an expansion while pressuring. Pretty good timing and pretty good execution. He's going to kill a couple of peons here. This main is going to be pretty hard to harass, honestly. You can go for that shot, but you know, the Wind Riders are right there. He really needs to avoid those right now. Any unit losses is really gonna set Tillerman back. He is into low upkeep like his opponent now, but he is 10 food down, and like I say, the Wind Riders straight up are gonna pretty much beat the Griffins. Even with these upgrades, it's still gonna be sort of favor the Wind Riders, but Tillerman does have an orb on his Mountain King, and he's got decent hero levels 3-3, so you know, it would probably be an interesting hero fight, though. This Cyclone item would really hurt Tillerman's ability to fight a battle because he needs the healing and the Mountain King out there, or the Knights. You know, you could Cyclone the Knights just to limit the damage, but really keeping those heroes up in the air is going to help him secure kills on the air units and really avoid all the damage from Stormbolt, etc. So this is not a fight Tillerman wants to fight, and he's realizing right now he cannot run, so he's going to TP. I think he's going to heal that Griffin, and Grubby did not go for the concoction, so didn't lose anything but a town portal, and he did throw up his expansion. He canceled an expansion, and he killed 2 peons running over there earlier, so that was a pretty good little sequence for Tillerman, and now he is getting out some siege engines. And he's already got 2 of them, and they have the air upgrades, anti-air upgrades. So, this is going to be good news for Tillerman. And but the bad news is Grubby is going to show off his pro intuition, and he's going to pop up right after this expansion finishes, and gonna pose some problems. But now Tillerman is finally set up to fight a standing battle with these Wind Riders, and there's not, right now Grubby is in a little bit of trouble because Stormbolt is going to prevent him from running all his units, and so he's going to be able to secure kills that way. He's got some, he had some gyros, but he's still got 1 at least to quickly sort of maybe chase some units down. He can pressure heroes. He's going to catch this Marseille with no town portal because he had the town portal earlier and never replaced it. And this is really just rolling for Tillerman. Grubby has really found himself into a conundrum. And another problem with this situation for Grubby is he does not have a lot of options to counter this army combination from Tillerman. With these upgrades, he really is going to need the Wind Riders. And really good timing also to get that hero kill. Grubby is his main mine just ran out, so Tillerman just found himself in the driver's seat, and you know, he is threatening to just win the game outright here before Grubby can get his hero back. And this is that situation I was talking about. You know, Grubby has these towers up. He's got what would seemingly be a decent army against Griffins, but these upgrades are and these siege engines are going to be the the main thing here. Because if Grubby tries to stand and fight, his Wind Riders are just going to get pounded by these siege engines. So, even though this is sort of seemingly a good location for him to fight, the type of battle is just terrible for him. These siege engines are just going to be perfect for the situation, and you're going to see how quickly they are going to tear through the Wind Riders. Now, he's going to be able to run them away, get some heal waves off, and etc., but if he can't defend this expansion, the game is essentially over because Tillerman has his expansion up. If they would have traded expansions instead of Grubby getting stuck here, arguably it would have been kind of a deadlock game, and Grubby maybe could have used his micro tricks and quick units to sort of slowly pick away at Tillerman's strong army here. But notice the food count actually still, Grubby's still slightly ahead, but these siege engines are only 3 food each, and they really can counter the Wind Riders and the buildings perfectly. So not a lot of micro tricks here for Grubby to save himself. And he doesn't know, and then he's gonna pop his armor scroll. He's gonna hit level 5, and he's already got level 4 paladin, almost level 5. I mean, this is just unheard of. Grubby getting caught down with his pants down and just taking a spanking. To be honest, I mean, this isn't even close anymore. I mean, what originally looked like Grubby had the advantage, Tillerman has sort of popped out and gotten a perfect army to counter his. Again, it didn't help that Grubby lost his level 5 hero at a sort of crucial moment, but again, a really good army combination against the Wind Riders, and you have to play it really. You really need good intuition and timing and micro, like Tillerman, to pull this off. But it's something you can try. And again, if the orc goes for a two beast here, he sort of limits himself because he really. There was just a brief period where he was sort of just running around, not taking advantage of his map control, and that really, it really was pretty much the mistake that let Tillerman, get established and get his teched army to counter the Wind Riders. Really, Grubby needed an expansion a little quicker, maybe a Blade Master instead of a Farseer. Or maybe, just creeped his Farseer better than he did. But again, he was probably worried about that expansion and towers. If you get a towered expansion up, the Wind Rider window of advantage really just sort of falls off quickly. So that was probably what he was worried about. But in this case, that's that timing was. He needed to be scouting a little better, maybe just with wolves, while he crept with his army instead of just running the army around. So, now as you're probably wondering, or aware by now, these aren't actually Grubby and Tillerman. That was just some jokes going in the chat. If we look at the, and sort of off the name that I have, 4k.Qillerman. So, but anyway, take a look at the units killed. Tillerman actually killed, Tillerman. That was actually me in this replay. I was the human player, so I actually killed more units than my opponent NateDoGG here, by quite a bit. He produced more units, though. A lot of those were probably summons and peons, probably at that expansion. I raised a few more buildings. He actually had the largest army at a certain point. Experience, though, I outgained him. That was sort of the long run. For most of the game, he was, it was really close experience-wise. He should have been ahead. He didn't really play it correctly in the mid-game, to be honest. He could have just crept the whole map really quickly with those Wind Riders, and I really would have had a hard time stopping it. He might have risked me getting an expansion, maybe, if he didn't, Wolf Scout correctly or whatever, but I definitely think that was his mistake in this game. We look at the resources, pretty close. I actually got a little bit more than him. Resource-wise, also he suffered upkeep loss more from low upkeep. About 1,200, so that was actually a substantial with the upkeep and the extra having my expansion going. You know, was sort of sort of contributed a little bit. But again, you know, it's really the unit combination. You know, if you straight mass Wind Riders, you know, even with a couple of Raiders to try to counter I mean, it's not really there's not really a very hard counter for the siege engines. Raiders are pretty much as good as you're gonna get. You know, demolishers, you can't really afford to be making demolishers. They just get shredded by the Griffins and the Knights. You know, Raiders can snare and focus them down, but, you know, bolt, focus, Knights and Griffins gonna pretty quickly be able to kill it. And, you know, the Raiders are really the only thing that are going to be doing great damage against the siege engines, except maybe, you know, a Blade Master would still be pretty decent. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I think Blade Master, because you can throw an orb on a Blade Master, and in close battles, aside from just being able to purge stuff to prevent them from running, in close battles, you know, with small armies, that orb, especially against Griffins, on a leveled Blade Master is going to be just incredibly strong, and so that's sort of going to help him counter the air even harder. And again, you know, the Blade Master is going to be able to put on decent damage to the siege engines also. So, but that's one sort of strategy you can do. Again, it's sort of risky to give an orc map control for that long, because you know they can quickly tower an expansion, and then, you know, you're sort of all in at tier 3 attack is not going to work against towers if they have an expansion advantage for long enough. And you know, if you miss that window and they keep their expansion up, then it's just probably game over. It's really hard to overcome an expansion advantage with a strategy, depending on when they get it up. He got his expansion was a little bit slow, so, and then I harassed it a little bit, so it was didn't quite bite me that he got that up. But anyway, hopefully you were entertained. You know, a little bit of a joke there with the Qillerman and grubby comments, and maybe make it a little exciting. But no, this was just me and some other guy. He's a pretty good player, though. I think we both, his APM, I believe, was over 200. So, and again, aside from the strategic choice, he didn't do that poorly. So I wouldn't say so. He just sort of got caught, you know, in a little bit of an abnormal strategy from me. And so this is going to be Scry Mind signing out.